Hey y'all, my name is Kashayla Clark, and today's video will be different from my usual content. Usually I do vlogs and things, but in today's video I want to do a sit down and talking video. A lot of us have things that we wish our parents would have done differently in raising us. Many of us have things that we appreciated that they did for us. So my parenting style is just gonna be based off of things that I appreciate that they have done for me growing up and the things that I wish they would have done a little bit differently. And this is not a video like meant to bash my parents or anything. It's just based off of like what I want to do for my child. Like that's really what this video is about. So if anybody takes offense to it, then y'all just offended by it. Like it has nothing to do with me because it's not the intention of this video. What I want to do for my kids though is I want to have like that open dialogue where it's like constant open dialogue to where they can critique my parenting. Like if they feel like I'm doing something that is hindering them in any old type of way, right or wrong, I will hear them out. Now, if it's something that's like caused me to jeopardize my beliefs, my values as a Christian, as a mother, as the nurturer, as somebody who's supposed to protect them, then, I'll push back and I explain to them why I parent that way. Because I believe that my child deserves to know why I parent a certain type of way and why I believe what I believe. I think that they're entitled to that. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know me. You know what I'm saying? I had them, but they don't really know me as a person. So I need to build that trust with my child by telling them why we do things the way we do. So if it jeopardizes that, then I will explain it to them. But if it's something that I'm like, okay, let's try what you're saying. Like if they feel like I'm being a little too strict in this area by not letting them hang out with their friends, if it's not something that's like dangerous and something that is obviously a red flag to a parent, then I can loosen up on it a little bit, give them a little freedom to do it, but monitor them while they do it. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if they want to hang out with a friend and they're like, Mom, you never let me like go to the malls with my friends, right? So maybe I can pick up my daughter or my son and their friends and take them to the mall. But me and my husband can be at that same mall, not chaperoning them directly, but just be in the same environment in the mall doing our own thing while my kids are at the mall doing their own thing, so that if something happens, I can be in a close proximity to them to come and get them. Instead of just not letting them do it at all. I want to like raise my kids to understand like I'm still learning. There are things that I can learn from you, and there are plenty of things that you can learn from me. I want it to be, that open dialogue, that open floor, so my child knows that we're both learning alongside each other. I'm learning how to be a parent. They're learning how to be a functional human being. So I want them to understand that. Next thing that I want to do for my kids is I want them to be their own person. Like as a parent, I'm here to nurture, guide, direct, discipline, correct, things of that nature, protect, provide, things of that nature. I'm here to do that for my kid. But at the end of the day, it's God's job to make them into the person that they're intended to be for this earth, because God placed all of us here for a reason. He placed all of us here with our own talents, our own personalities, things like that. And I don't know exactly how my kid is supposed to use their personality and talents in this world. I don't know for certain. All I can do is put them in certain things that enhances their talents. If they're good at drawing and they have like a creative personality, or they have an expressive personality, most that I can do for them is just, direct them by putting them in art classes. But they have to use their own free will, their own wisdom, their own knowledge. And God has to help them and direct them to understand how they can use that, their art skill to the extent that He wants them to use it. I can't do that. All I can do is just place that in front of them. I mean, people may say it's passive and assume that it's passive parenting, but it's not. Of course, I'm going to correct my child. I'm going to make suggestions for them, but it's up to my child whether they want to do it or not when it comes down to their gifts, their talents, and their personality. And another thing I want to do for my child is not always think that I'm right. This kind of goes in with the first point. Not always think that I'm right, not always think that I know everything, because at the end of the day, I'm learning, I'm growing. Every day is a new day, just like every day is a new day for me, just like every day is a new day for them. So I'm brand new to the day, just like they brand new to the day. The only thing that's different with me is that I come with a little bit more wisdom because I have been here longer than them. So I can teach them from that. Teach them from what I know, but not feel like I'm just this superior being that knows everything and I'm just here to teach them everything, because that's not my job. That's God's job. You know what I'm saying? He using me as a vessel, but that is not my job to teach my child every single thing. It's just my job to guide them and correct them and let God teach them, let life teach them. Lastly, and I'm gonna try to make this my last point. Lastly, what I want to do for my child is, and I believe this can be like the most helpful, and this is not directly like an action, this is more of like a mindset. I want to have the mindset of like, okay, this is my child, I'm here to shepherd them. But the end goal for this whole project, you know, helping my child, nurturing my child, the end goal of this whole project, meaning adulthood, is for them not to any longer be my child. They're just going to be a coexisting citizen with me. And let me explain that a little bit better, because that might freak some people out. But basically what I mean is that I don't want my child to always be my child, always depending on me, always relying on me, always thinking that, oh, I can't do this without going to my mom. I can't do this without going to my dad. I can't understand this without asking my mom for help. I can understand this without asking my dad for help. I want them to be an adult and be able to have confidence in their decisions. So throughout life, I'm going to have to place things in their paths where they have to make a decision, so that when they get older, they can have that capacity or capability or whatever the word is to make their own decisions as an adult. I don't want my child to stay my child. I want one day for my child, my son, to be a grown man and be able to talk to his dad and have conversations with his dad like a grown man. You know what I'm saying? I want him to look at his dad as, of course he's going to know that's his father, but look at his dad as like, okay, this is an older, wiser man in my life who I can go to for advice. But I don't have to always go to my dad for advice, because I know this other older man who I can go to for advice who may be wiser in this area than my dad. So let me go to him. But I know my dad is wise in this area, so let me go to my dad. You know what I'm saying? Same way with if I have a daughter. I want my daughter to be like, okay, when she gets grown, this is the older woman in my life. My mom is wise in this area, so I'm going to go to her for this advice. But this woman is wiser in this other area, so I'm going to go to her for this advice. Do you get what I'm saying? So I want my children to, you know, like coexist with us in this world, not feel like, oh, these are my tyrants, I can't go to them and talk, these are my masters. Like, when you get an adult, all you gotta do is honor me. You don't gotta obey me. You don't gotta listen to nothing I say. You know what I'm saying? I would want you to listen to the right things that I say to you. When you become an adult, you're basically on your own. You just gotta honor me, respect me, don't call me by my name, don't be talking bad about me, don't disrespect me, don't put your hands on me. You know what I'm saying? But you don't gotta obey me like you did when you was a child. And I understand that. So you can come to me when you want, but you don't have to. I want my child to always have that understanding. Oh yeah, and I forgot another thing. So this is really the last thing. I don't want to take everything as disrespect. Okay, I'm not gonna take everything my child do as disrespect. Say they like 7 years old, right? And I haven't taught them about tone or perception yet. They can come in the house yelling at me. I will sit my child right here and be like, hey, that tone, the way you said it was disrespectful. I don't know what you meant by it, but so that we won't have this misunderstanding in the future, can you fix that tone? So that I can understand that you're not trying to disrespect me. You just want to get your point across. I want to, you know, teach my child tone and perspective. Like, you can't come in here yelling, because for me, yelling is like an aggressive tone. And for a lot of people, it's an aggressive tone. And also, when you come in here yelling, I perceive that you're mad at me, that you want to fight me. So you got to come in here a different way. Now, you can't get mad at your child for coming in the house yelling if you ain't never taught them that it was wrong. You can't get mad at your child for coming in the house stumping if you ain't never taught them that it was wrong. If all you do every single time they come in here is you just yell at them back, you're reinforcing that behavior. That's what I strongly believe. You're reinforcing that behavior. If all that you do when your child come in, you start yelling at them, you hit them because they yelling, you're reinforcing that bad behavior. So I just ain't in all that, okay? I'm gonna teach my child like tone and perspective. And once we get that, once we get that down packed, then they can rightfully understand whether they're being disrespectful or not. And I can rightfully understand whether they're being disrespectful or not. You get what I'm saying? You can't just try to teach them once and be like, okay, they get it. They don't. Us as adults, we can't even be taught something once and just get it like that all the time. So don't expect that level of understanding from your child, from your teenager, from your toddler. Don't expect that level of understanding, because us as adults, we don't even get it. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to teach them that. And then once I'm like, okay, we've been going over this way too long. We've been going over this way too long. You should understand this by now. Now you're being disrespectful. And that's when the discipline comes in. And the discipline is not always physical. I'll get to that in another video.